Welcome to a Nitro Tech review of the GW620. This is the 620F, which is the Telecom XT version of the 620, which is featuring the 850 megahertz, of course, which works on AT&T in the States and also Telstra in Australia, plus many other networks around the world as well. Let's take a bit of a look, first of all, around the device. This is a 3-inch screen on the LG, and if we just have a bit of a look around it, it's got a proximity sensor, ambient light sensor, one of those two, sitting at the top. You've got a single button in the middle, you've got a back button and also a home button. There's no search button on that, but if you flip out the nifty little keyboard, you'll find it automatically orientates itself onto landscape, and the search button is right down here. And just while we are looking at the keyboard, actually the keyboard's not too bad. I found it pretty good. It clicks well, so you do get a little bit of feedback when you're pushing the buttons, which often you don't get on some of these phone keyboards. And in terms of key spacing, it's actually pretty good, and as you'll see, it's got the full lines there. It's got the numbers at the top, the 3 lines of keys plus your space and other buttons down there. So the keyboard is actually the standout of this device. As we take a look at some of the other features of the device, you've also got obviously the USB, mini USB charging there. You've got up and down rocker for the volume. If we have a look on the bottom, there's nothing on the bottom. Around the other side, and you've got the micro SD slot, so you can get to it without powering off the phone. And also you have got a button there as well, which is the search button. So you do actually have a hardware search button, but it's on the side. And also you've got a camera button, so a dedicated camera button. We always find that's quite nice on phones as well. Taking a look around the back, as you see, it's pretty well used. It does have an LED there, and also you have got a 5 megapixel camera. On the top of the device, you've got the on-off switch, and you've also got a 3.5mm jack as well. Speaker at the top there, and that's relatively loud. Not too many problems with that, although just to talk briefly about call quality, found the call quality on this is absolutely appalling. It rattles quite a bit. Now, whether this is just because the device is well used and maybe it's been dropped a few times, I don't know, but I did find the call quality was quite bad. It echoed quite a bit. It was quite bassy, and very difficult to pick up what people at the other end were saying. In terms of the microphone quality, it seemed to be okay at the other end. So let's just have a bit of a look at what you get on this device. Android 1.5. You'll remember that from the dark ages. They're still producing devices with it, and of course I guess this was a device of 2010 and probably early 2010 at that, so we can't hold that against it, but you know, Android 1.5 is certainly showing its age. The app drawer comes up from the bottom on 1.5, just like that. It has no button for the app drawer, as the newer builds of Android do. But one of the great things that LG have done with this is they've customized it so for those that are in the corporate world, you can get your Exchange mail and contacts and the like with Moxia. So Moxia is included in the build of Android 1.5 that's on this phone. So quite happy with that as well. And it's also got the Office suite, the Quick Office, which also helps out with viewing of different documents as well. You've obviously got the Android market, but once again, you know, 1.5 means that you're really restricted by the apps that you can download on 1.5, and certainly you'll find that there's a limited selection of apps that are available to you. The screen itself is not too bad in conditions such as we've got at the moment. You'll see that that's reasonably bright. However, out in direct sunlight, I found that it washes out pretty much completely, and the ambient light sensor didn't seem to make too much of a difference. So all in all, a little bit disappointing with the screen. As I say, inside it's fine. It's when you go outside that you seem to have problems. It has all the regular features that you would expect of a smartphone. You've got the browser, and that is obviously quite slow. No flash support. You've got a 528 megahertz processor in this, so that does make it a little on the sluggish side. However, I guess 1.5 Android, which this is built for, performs okay on the device. It's not going to set any land speed records, but all in all, it performs okay. Paper Toss we put on here, and Paper Toss is always quite a good game to sort of gauge how your smartphone's going to perform. I was actually surprised that it did manage to download this particular game. So let's just start by taking a bit of a quick squiz. No, push the wrong one. Go back on that, and no internet connections available. We understand that. Easy. Just see how we go with flicking that, and you see it's not awful in terms of the performance there. As I say, the speed of this device, 528 megahertz processor, so as I say, it's not going to set any records, but all in all, it performs reasonably well. You've obviously got different screens which you can load up with widgets and apps just like any other device. The GPS seemed to perform admirably. It picked us up pretty well, and also obviously some of the newer sort of functions that you expect to see in some of these devices aren't installed or aren't pre-installed anyway on the device, such as some of the newer sort of Google applications, and I'm thinking there in terms of latitude and some of the other ones as well. The sat-nav application from Google as well, not installed on the device, and maybe if you did a bit of a search, I haven't searched through the Android market, you might find some of them, and obviously some of them may be incompatible with this device. You've obviously got YouTube Player, and that works fine. Gmail client, the Android market obviously is probably different to what you're used to. This is how the Android market looks. If you just saw it very briefly there, very text-based, rather than some of the newer markets that we're obviously seeing now. So quite a little bit different than what you're seeing on some of the newer smartphones. But all in all, if you're looking for something that's a cheap sort of entry-level Android device, this is not too bad. It performs reasonably well. You'll be able to download some of the Android applications. You can take photos, you can share them, you can do your email, all that sort of thing. It's a resistive touchscreen, I've got to say that as well. And one of the things that we also noticed is that you really have to use the hardware keyboard for most of your text input, because just trying to use this keyboard, which is basically the phone-based keyboard, you have to tap it 3 times to get the C, etc. There's no other, when you go to the input selection here, you'll see that there are no other Android keyboards installed on the device by default, but of course you probably could download some. You are limited by obviously the size of the screen with this device, and being a resistive touchscreen as well, it's not going to be a pleasant experience. And as I say, when we've slid out the keyboard is actually one of the best things about this device, because it clicks quite nicely, really easy to use, and it's fast to type. So suggest that if you are going to get the GW620, then you're probably going to want to use the hardware keyboard most of all. It's obviously available on Telecom XT. It has been destocked from the online store. You might be able to pick some up though from some of the other retailers around, and you're obviously going to pick them up second hand. There'll be a lot of them floating about, and hopefully that's helped you with your choice of smartphone. So there you go, the LG GW620. This is the F version on Telecom XT. This is Nitro Technology with another review of another smartphone.